Be promo interviews with the 1967 New York Mets. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chuck Hiller,
See,
the sterling second baseman for the New York Mets. This is a tape recorder. Listen, let me just ask you a couple of questions, Chuck. You know, Ron Hunt isn't with the team this year, and he was kind of the spark plug of the team last year. Huh?
go ahead. I'm listening.
And I just wondered, you know, who are the take charge guys this year? I know you are, but who else do you feel is going to be moving a lot of these young players around?
Oh, I don't know. I think take charge and leader and all that baloney is overrated.
You do.
I think if you have the right kind of ball players, you don't need it.
Well, you know, a team has a certain cohesiveness sometimes. I just I know that this team does, and I just wonder, you know, where it comes from.
Well, I think probably where it starts is from the manager. I think it's a feeling. It's just like a lot of things. You're with a club and you have this feeling of coming back, winning games, and other feelings like this, and sometimes you lose it. You wonder, it's something you can't say, well, let's tomorrow go out and get it.
Yeah.
It's either there it isn't, and you just don't pick it up. I think it's something you have to work on.
It comes from the top.
And I think a manager can instill happiness, and I think happiness is the point where a lot of this stuff starts from.
Do you think this is a happy team this year?
Definitely.
You do.
I think we're going to be a better team because of it too. And you say maybe that we have a little better ball club. We all seem to be working hard. I'm sure you noticed.
Yeah.
And this is things that you can't tell a man to do. If he is happy, he'll go out and do a lot of extra things for you.
Right.
Instead of telling a man to run 10 laps, he might run 15 if he's contented.
You know, Chuck, the fans have a great groovy way of reacting to the Mets. They love to come out. They have a good time. Do you think this will be sustained this year with a better ball club? I mean, you know, the fun part that the fans have at the field themselves.
Well, I think as far as the Mets are concerned, I think people have a wrong impression, or maybe not so much people. I don't mean the fans have a wrong impression. I think a lot of people that hear about the Mets have a wrong impression in that because we of our losing we draw, and I think this is wrong. I think
well, fans don't like a losing team. They like a win.
Right.
Everybody likes a winning team.
And I think this is I think there's a fan of ours that doesn't want to see us win.
Good, Ken. Well, I think that you know, I think that fun is great in its place, and everybody, you know, people like to enjoy themselves when they go out. But if maybe the fans understand that you guys work like blazes out here to produce a good ball team, they'll understand that when you're out on the field, it's dead serious work for you.
Well, I think the majority of fans feel that way. I think they want to see us do good and win. I'm sure they come out mainly to have fun and see a good ball game, but the more games the Mets win, the happier they're going to be.
Right.
Stands to reason any fan would feel this way.
Right.
And we have wonderful fans.
What about some of these new players like Don Bosch? Is he? You think he's going to be up for the whole season at this point?
Well, I sure hope he does. I think he can play baseball for us. I'm no one to judge really, because none of us have seen him play that much. But from what everybody says, I think he'll help us a lot and do a good job for us. He's a nice boy and he plays the game right, and I think he'll be a good addition to our club.
How about Tommy Davis?
Well,
he's a great pro. I mean, how's he worked in with the guys? Is he, you know,
well,
part of it?
He's like most good ball players are. He comes to do his job and he does it, and that's it. I'm sure it would be very little of me to try and say anything about him, but because we all know what he has done, and I'm sure he's going to keep on doing the same thing for us.
Yeah.
Because he's a big league ball player.
Who's he rooming with?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I have too many problems of my own.
Yeah, he is a big league ball player.
I wish we had 9 of them like him.
Yeah. Well, that's great. All right. Thank you very much, Chuck. Hi, Harvey.
Hi, Ken.
How are you?
Fine.
Good.
Stan White. Meet you. And how you doing?
Harvey Haddock. Listen, Hart, two things. First of all, you're the pitching coach of this team this year and last year, and how many years now?
You mean as a pitching coach or
For the Mets?
For the Mets, it's my second year.
Second year.
Right.
You were just talking about these fellas who were running up and down the field here. What, are they doing wind sprints, or what are they doing here?
Well, they're actually getting their bodies toughened. It also helps in the wind, of course, but as pitchers, to me, running is coordination. That's it.
Is that step, pitcher, when he throws on the mound, he's taking a big step there. Is that step improved by running, or, is this whole... I know everything is...
Yes, like I say, running is coordination, all right? He takes that big step on the mound. This is part of that coordination now. This is where it all fits in. You time your body, your muscles are toned where you can time it right, and this all falls right into place. If you'll notice, when a guy starts in early in the spring, why, he's a little bit off timed, and this is why we have him do it.
Well, pitchers have, they got another big problem, too. They throw that ball in, the batter hits it. It's liable to be coming right back at him at about 100 miles a second. What do they do to prepare themselves to stay alive?
Well, this is all a part of pitching. You got to say that each ball you throw has a chance of coming back at you. So you've got to be ready for that ball coming back. Of course, some fellows are better at that than others, and their idea is to be planted in such a way when you come off of that mound to be ready to field that ball when it comes back. And of course, some guys' delivery makes it almost impossible for them to come off of that hill and field the ball at the same time.
Well, if you have a pitcher who's throwing good stuff, but his delivery is of such a nature that he can't really retrieve the ball, do you try to change his delivery so he can field the ball after the pitch, or do you leave him alone?
I will leave it up to the fella himself. Of course, your primary thing is to throw good stuff on the ball, and anything else comes secondary.
All right. Now let me ask you something else. These fellas are going to have to field a lot of bunts and a lot of grounders and a lot of top balls. They got to move pretty good off the mound to maybe save a game by picking up a ball fast and making a double play. What do you do to work on their fielding?
Well, of course, we went through this earlier this spring. We went through all the basic things that they have to do, where they have to position themselves and how they have to cheat sometimes on a bunt situation. What I mean by cheating, they have to run towards the third baseline as soon as they release the ball, or they run towards the hitter a little bit. And this is things that we went through earlier in spring training. Of course, repetition helps all this to come about. And of course, you'll still run into the same thing. Like I said, some fellas are ready to do this after they've thrown the ball, and some are not. It comes easy to some, and some it never does come to.
All right, now we have a large group of pitchers here this year, and a lot of young fellas who come up from Jacksonville and Auburn and Tacoma and so on. How do the youngsters look to you?
Well, we've got 20 boys here as pitchers, and they all have thrown real good so far, except a couple of like Chuck Estrada and Floyd Weaver, who we haven't been able to use yet. Chuck's had a blister on his finger, and Floyd has had a little tightness in his shoulder that he hasn't been able to throw. But all the ones that have been out there so far have been very impressive in their throwing.
Out of the 20, how many do you keep on the roster? 10?
Well, either 10 or 11 possibly.
11.
Yes, I think Wes said earlier he was planning on 10, but with all these boys being fairly equal in their ability, it's going to be quite a job to pick out 10 out of these boys.
Yeah, that's pretty tough to cut, isn't it?
Sure is.
What about these factors like Estrada and Terry, both not on the roster, but both sort of known factors from the past? You know that they once were great. It must be awful tough to make a determination as to whether to keep them or not.
Well, yes, of course, you feel sorry for these fellas that have been through this thing like they have, and here they have to fight for the position on the ball club, and this is just exactly what they've got to do. Of course, Wes and us coaches, it's our primary job to find out who can do the best job for you, and you can't let personalities or anything else enter into it. You have to pick out the 10 or 11 best men that's out there, and will help you right now when that season opens.
What do you look for from an old pro, mostly? What do you really try to find when you have a guy who comes up like that who has once had great stuff and he's not really over the hill. Let's say he's in his 30s, middle 30s, or early 30s, and he's making a comeback. What specifically do you watch him for?
Well, it still boils down to the fact that we still look for stuff. You just can't beat stuff out there. All the experience in the world, if he can't throw good enough stuff, will not get men out.
All right, Harvey. I'm going to turn this thing off now. I want to have a little side chat with you.